I was kind of too smart for them without sounding really big-headed. Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. If you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. Please do check out the rest of my videos. If you clicked on this video because you're interested in apprenticeships or want to know more about them, I have a few other videos on my channel that might help you with that, so definitely go check them out. And if you're already subscribed to my channel, welcome back. Thanks for the constant support, it means a lot to me. So today's video is going to be all about apprenticeships and busting the myths and the stereotypes that are often carried around the topic, because often a lot in the DMs and the comments and stuff like that, questions that I get are always quite similar and obviously unintentional. Stereotypes that even myself thought before I started the apprenticeship. But now I've been in one for around 5 months, I thought this video was important to create awareness about what they actually are, because I feel like there's still that gap of a misunderstanding around the whole point of them. And I feel like in future I'm going to do a whole video just about what apprenticeships are, because the reason that apprenticeships aren't so popular as uni is because people don't understand them enough clearly. So, but for today I'm just going to be raising a few questions, statements, topics that people often assume about apprenticeships that I feel, from my personal experience and hearing other people's experience, aren't quite correct. So yeah, here we go. And this video is probably directed towards obviously the people that are kind of considering apprenticeships but don't quite understand them that well, or that kind of just want to see if what they think about them is true. But also people, if you think you're pretty set on university, because when I was applying to university it was kind of just like the given route, and that was something that I thought I was going to do. And then when I've kind of researched into apprenticeships a bit more, I really leaned in more towards that and thought that was the right route for me. And clearly, obviously I'm doing one now and I'm really enjoying it. So I don't want any of you that have got your heart set on university to kind of miss out on any opportunities that might be better for you. So I'd like you to watch this video with an open mind if you think you're going to university, and just see if anything in this video applies to you. First statement is apprenticeships are for people that couldn't get into university. So I feel like as the awareness grows, this statement gets more and more outdated. But even I myself, before I considered apprenticeships, thought I was kind of too smart for them, without sounding really big-headed. I always thought they were kind of like a step down from university, but with the introduction of degree apprenticeships you can kind of get the two in one, the best of both worlds, and get the work experience and the degree out at the end of it, which I think is amazing. But besides that, I think apprenticeships are still for smart people, but smart people that learn more practically. I think it's a whole different experience, kind of exposing yourself to that workplace at such a young age, because I know I've learnt a lot that I wouldn't have learnt at university already. Also, I think it's a great option for people that can't commit to 4 years, 3-4 years at university, because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, but I thought an apprenticeship would be a good stepping stone into kind of figuring out if I like this industry in digital marketing or not. Whereas if I had chosen marketing at university, I would have been stuck there for 4 years. I know there's ways around it where you can change courses and things like that, but a 15-month apprenticeship I think is the perfect gap. And maybe if I really did like it and I did want a degree in it, I can always go to university afterwards. And say apprenticeships where you can't get degrees, I think more and more within the recruitment and hiring of jobs, experience is valued just as much as, if not more, than degrees. Just because like it's really hard, I think, with the introduction of technology, to be honest, and people talking to each other less and less face to face, I think it's hard to find people with those natural soft skills like confidence and presentation skills and things like that. So getting that experience in a workplace really helps you improve those skills and kind of force you into situations that you wouldn't necessarily be given at university. And also kind of an obvious one, they're not just for people that aren't smart enough to go to university. People might not be able to afford university, or might just want to earn the money and not get into debt. So that's another obvious reason that people might not want to go to university. Okay, so this is quite an interesting one that I personally had never really considered before, but apprenticeships are just for teenagers. If I think way back to kind of my first initial thoughts of apprenticeships, I always thought they were an alternative to college. So I knew people that were kind of doing hairdressing apprenticeships or like manual labour apprenticeships that were, instead of doing A-levels or sixth form or BTECs. So that was always my first opinion of them. And obviously that's at like 16 to 18 year olds, so that's quite young. And then obviously instead of university, that's still like 18 to 21 year olds, I think it is. And looking at the programme that I'm on now, the maximum age limit is 24, and we actually do have 2 24-year-olds and I think like 1 23-year-old that have kind of moved from different sectors, different industries, so like banking, investment banking. I think just as an introduction into that industry to kind of not quite throw themselves into the deep end and actually learn on the job, which I think is a great opportunity. Obviously I'm not that old yet. But you never know, maybe in future I could be doing an apprenticeship in something completely different. Apprenticeships only specialise in manual labour. Again, I can speak from personal experience. I thought they were just kind of like electricians, kind of very male dominated as well. I thought, oh, girls don't really do apprenticeships unless it's in hair and beauty or something like that. But I definitely think apprenticeships are a gateway into exciting companies like Google, Facebook, the BBC, and also exciting industries like the tech industries and IT and engineering that especially lack, you know, females in that industry. Yeah, and I definitely think it's an amazing opportunity that you can expose yourself to these industries and talk to people that are experienced in these industries, and speaking to these people may well impact your future career and where you go after the apprenticeship. Often people think that apprentices only get paid minimum wage. Now, this could be true and it may not be true. It's completely situational, I think, depending on what industry you're in, depending on the company that gives out the apprenticeships, what location you're in. For example, I know the ones that I were looking at, London seemed to pay a lot more, obviously to cover the cost of living. And I feel like, don't hold me to this, but I'm pretty sure when I was looking, sectors like, public sectors like the police force and the Navy and the Army, pretty sure their apprentices get paid quite a lot. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just trying to prove my point that I think every apprenticeship is different, and it does require a lot of research and kind of a lot of just waiting around, seeing what comes up to kind of find the right one for you. It's also considering the factors that, will you be living at home when you're doing this apprenticeship? Because minimum wage might be enough if you've not got many outgoings, whereas you might need to get paid a lot more if you're relocating to cover costs of bills and things like that. So it's just something to think about depending on your situation. So this always comes up in questions that relate university and apprenticeships. People don't want to miss out on the university social life, and they think that apprenticeship offer no social aspect. Now I can tell you this is very wrong. I definitely think I've been lucky with my apprenticeship that there's 23 of us, and our education company White Hat creates this massive community and connects us with other apprentices from other companies, and often holds socials and panel discussions and things like that that we can all attend. So I think that might be quite rare, but obviously that's my experience, so I can only speak from my own experience. But I can imagine if you are the only apprentice in your company, it could feel quite lonely and maybe quite isolating, but having the other apprentices around you really helps kind of put things into perspective. You can ask them for advice, see what they're doing. And out of 23 people, you're bound to get along with one of them at least really well. We definitely, this is something I've mentioned in previous videos, but we were quite lucky in that we all bonded quite well from the start. We all keep in touch quite regularly, sometimes go out together outside of work. And obviously I live with some other apprentices, so we often like hang out together a lot outside of work too. Also within my work and within the team that I'm in, they hold lots of socials. throughout the whole year. Literally last week I went bowling with some people on my team that was created as like a work social. We left work early to go do it, so just definitely don't think that you're going to have completely nothing to do. But of course I understand this is a massive factor when you're like an 18-year-old like me. You do want to have friends and you don't want to be the only apprentice at your level at the office, but I think it just depends on what type of person you are and if you need that buzz of people around you all the time to keep you motivated and excited. So I think just consider kind of what type of person you are, and then also like look at how many applicants they accept, things like that, because it does really help having the other apprentices around you. Now last but not least, this is kind of a saying, so I'm going to explain it after, but apprentices only make teas and coffees. I don't know if that's just something that I've heard people around me say or if that's a bit of a thing, but basically meaning that apprentices get all the jobs that people in the company don't want to do, like admin or like cleaning up after events or stuff like that. It's a shame to think that in some cases this could be true, but I think with apprenticeships becoming more popular, companies are trying to avoid this stereotype because obviously they don't want to be, I imagine they don't want to have their company name tied up to an apprenticeship that treats apprentices like that. Speaking personally from my role, I can say that's completely not true. I definitely have been given a lot of responsibility. I feel part of the team. I don't feel like the apprentice. Taking a step back from this statement and taking a wider perspective, you've got to think, say if you're an 18-year-old like me and it's your first sort of proper job, you have got to think this is the start of your career and you won't get given the best job straight away. You have to earn responsibility and trust from your colleagues to be given important tasks. So I have done some admin jobs before just to create relationships with people, and you just will have to do jobs like that throughout your whole career. Someone has to do it, so you kind of can't go in expecting to get all the best jobs and be given responsibility straight away, but at the same time make sure you're not getting taken advantage of, because this apprenticeship is so you can learn about yourself and about your skills, what you're good at, and learn about the industry. So you're not going to be learning about anything making teas and coffee. You can do that at home. So it's just food for thought. But that just about rounds up everything that I have to say. If you have any more stereotypes or things you thought about apprenticeships that you want me to kind of discuss, I can always do a part 2 of this. Just let me know in the comments. And let me know what you thought of this video, if you found it interesting and if you were surprised by anything at all. Or let me know in the comments down below if you thought any of these stereotypes were true before this video. But yeah, subscribe to not miss any of my future videos. Like this one if you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Thanks for watching.